What are we talking about today?
Hello everybody and welcome to What Are We Talking About? Today we're talking about Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It's a new movie that came out. Oh, I guess now it came out in, what, 1999?
Yeah.
So, just off the beginning, seeing as how I was 7 when this movie came out, there's a certain amount of nostalgic value just for me personally because I was so young when I saw it, right?
My parents took me to the theaters to go see it.
But I'm going to try and be as objective as possible and just rate these movies, because we're going to do all 6 Star Wars movies up until the release of Episode 7, and then we'll do that one as well, right? So, I'm going to try and be as objective as possible. And for the rating system for this, I don't know, I haven't told you this yet, but I'm personally, since I hate rating, I figured out a way to rate these movies. I will just rate them based on compared to all the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah, so what, we'll put it out of 6 then?
Kind of a thing. Or, well, what I'll just, like, whether it's
okay, so then
the worst one or not the worst one.
I already have my rating for this movie then.
Yeah, okay. So, now actually on to the review. We just finished watching it, and one thing I will mention right off the bat that's a positive, CGI is, like, it's starting to age a little bit, but
to see it's
pretty good considering the fact, like, that was also, you have to remember, revolutionary for the time. Yeah. Like, that was the first time we ever saw, like, real performance capture in terms of, it was mostly just body performance capture with Jar Jar Binks. Love or hate the character. Most people, and I'm one of them, I hate him, but the fact of the actual technology that was involved in bringing him to life for you to hate was some pretty advanced technology that George Lucas was a part of creating. Like, Episode 1 was pretty revolutionary. But all that aside, the story makes no sense. Rewatching it again, and it's like,
because we started talking about the Senate and their decisions and what they could have done and what they didn't do, and it's
like
just
leaving aside the fact that it's weird to have a bunch of Senate meetings in a Star Wars movie. That's besides the fact. Now talking about what the Senate actually did was dumb on top of that.
Yeah, because if they're anything like the UN,
which is what the feel you get, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more they could have done, but they didn't do. And it felt like all those leaders in there were just retarded.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, they're all selfish.
It's almost like Senator Palpatine or Darth Sidious didn't need to even use the Force to manipulate them. They were just that.
No, I think that he didn't use the Force to manipulate people. I think he used the Force to be able to sense.
Oh yeah.
I guess he used it in a way to manipulate them, because the way that I think he used it was like...
He couldn't have used it that much because he couldn't allow the Jedi to realize...
No, he didn't do it in terms of influence. Like, he didn't influence people with the Force. What I think he did was he would sense what they're all about and then portray himself accordingly. Because that's what he was really good at, was portraying himself how he feels that the person... The best way to manipulate the person is to portray himself in a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what he was all about. And I would think that the way that Palpatine used the Force in those ways was like, he could sense, oh, Anakin is scared, loves his mom, it fears her for her death and all this stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So he just knows what to say based on what he feels.
Terrific manipulator and puppet master.
Yeah.
Like, for all the events...
But I don't think he uses the Force to influence people. No.
For all the events that happen in this movie, like, to the people involved in these events, they feel like they're huge and they're affecting Naboo and all that sort of stuff, but it was just so that he could be...
So Palpatine could gain more power.
So basically so that Padme, Queen Amidala, could have that
like he basically played chess with entire civilizations of people in order to, like you're saying, get Padme. Palpatine told the Trade Federation to invade Naboo so that he could convince Padme
Like, he knew Padme was going to make it to Coruscant.
Yeah.
He knew that
the Jedi...
he could,
like, he knew...
with these events
he
going
set
on.
the Jedi there.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Like,
or no, it was
that
Chancellor Valorum.
Yeah. But he knew that Padme would make it to Coruscant, and that with all these events that have been going on at her planet Naboo, that he'd be able to manipulate her and convince her to ask the Senate to have a revote on the Senate, on the Chancellor, so that Senator Palpatine or Darth Sidious could become the new Chancellor.
Yeah.
And slowly from there work it so that he slowly just gains
more and more power.
More and more power.
Because isn't it in the second one that he convinces Jar Jar to vote him more power again and executive power or whatever?
Yeah, basically make it so that
Julius
he can
Caesar
make,
style.
so that he can make executive decisions right there without having to consult the Senate and get their approval on it, so that he could just make decisions and be like, okay, this is what we're doing, and we're doing it now. Yeah. I don't have to wait for the Senate to do it, right?
I decide that we're going to make a galactic army for the Republic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just...
Instead of all the deliberating. Because if we've learned anything from Star Wars Episodes 1 and 2, it's that politics take a fucking long time.
Oh, yeah.
And they're pretty boring.
But that's the whole point of this movie, is that, like, all those other events were nothing, really. They were just little
tools.
Little tools and games to him to basically get him to the spot that he needed to be to start taking over the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everything we've seen in the movie is so big and spectacular, but it was just so small and minuscule in the terms of
compared to the Force.
Was actually in terms of what he was trying to go for.
Yeah, exactly. So he basically, like, that's the thing. It just goes to show about how good of a manipulator and how good of a planner and shit that Sheev, or whatever his name is, Palpatine, he, like, I don't think that he knew about Anakin, but as soon as he learned about Anakin, he started manipulating him. And also, like we were just saying, he made the entire Star Wars Episode 1, he's like the Deadpool of the Star Wars universe, in that technically there's some comics in the Marvel Universe where the entire Marvel Universe is just a figment of Deadpool's imagination. Whereas the entire prequel trilogy happened because just the Emperor wanted it to, basically.
Yeah, no, he set all these events up. Like,
he made everything happen in Episode 1. He made everything happen in Episode 2. He played everybody like just pawns, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, when you get to Episode 3, the culmination, like,
Before,
the Jedi just barely find out. Yeah,
when it's
exactly.
too late to do anything, that they find, like
and he kind of already knew that was going to happen, too. And here's one quote. No, I'll leave that for later when we do that review. But,
Episode 1.
Like, yeah, Episode 1. I don't know. Overall, like, if it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks, like, that's the thing. One thing that the most glaring problem with this movie that I find is that it...
Dialogue, Jar Jar Binks, and
well, no.
a lot of the directing.
The tone. It'll be like massive tone shifts all over the place, and because what'll happen is it'll be super serious, and then all of a sudden Jar Jar Binks will, like, step in poop.
Yeah.
Right? It's weird. It doesn't just coalesce with the rest of the movie. Like, it would have been a more acceptable movie if the tone would have been that more a little bit serious tone.
Was just taken out.
That's the thing. Jar Jar Binks George Lucas tried to make Jar Jar Binks be the comedic relief, right?
The new C-3PO that made him way too outrageous.
In Episode 4, the real comedic relief, I think, was somewhat unintentional by George Lucas. The comic relief that everybody loves is Han Solo. He's what made that... Because otherwise it would be this weird space movie where everything's weird and just crazy, right? But then he's the guy in the movie saying, like, this is all dumb. I don't believe in the Force. Using a like, glowing stick isn't as good as just having a good blaster by your side, right? Like, he's the logical one that's saying, like, this is crazy, and it's also, in that aspect, the thing that is, like, in a certain way it's serious, but it's also funny. Like, it's almost like a dry humor.
Yeah.
And the problem is George Lucas in Episode 1, the humor that he brought was all just, like, kid humor in Jar Jar Binks.
It was just outrageous
outrageous stuff. So that was the most glaring problem in that the tone wasn't equal. Jar Jar Binks didn't fit with the rest of the tone.
My problems with it was some of the directing. Like, it was...
Well, yeah.
We've heard that George Lucas can't really direct people, like, tell people what to do. He just gives them the role and is just like,
better next time. Like,
yeah.
I don't even know what he would say.
And like, how some of the dialogue, like, yippee. Who the fuck says yippee? Like,
unless you're a Duke of Hazzard jumping over a cop car.
Yeah, but like, who just says yippee when something good happens? Like, I've never said yippee.
Yeah, like it was this is the most strange conversation I've ever heard. Clean the racks and you can go home. Or no, how does he say? How does it go? It's like Watto and Anakin, and he's just like, Anakin's like talking to him, and then Watto's just like, yeah, just do like one more thing, and then you can go home for the day. And he's just like, yippee! Like,
yeah, like, I've never done that in my life.
I guess I've never been a slave, like 8-year-old slave kid, or 10-year-old, or however old he is. Plus, he's pretty cheerful for being a slave.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Watto must treat them good.
Like, that is one thing, and that's one thing you mentioned is there was no foundation to Anakin's evil.
Oh,
to
no.
him, there was no foundation to Darth Vader. He was pure good.
Yeah, he was just a little innocent boy, like...
Like, I understand in these 3 movies he's going to be mostly good, but there was just no foundation, nothing, no roots to how eventually he's going to turn into Darth Vader. No, exactly. Right?
Plus, the way that, like... because there was... Yeah, like... All that it would have taken was a few scenes of, like, him getting angry easily or something, and, like, Qui-Gon saying, don't let yourself be angry, like...
Yeah. Hatred or anything like that.
Just say that stuff, right? And kind of re-emphasize Yoda's teachings of, like... Because Yoda's always the one that's like, oh, pain leads to suffering. Suffering leads to anger. Or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the direct quote, but that's what he could have been talking about. But they never actually brought that up in the terms of like Anakin showing anything about being anything other than just like he's just a little kid. Like he's not bad, he's not good. He's just a kid in a movie.
Yeah.
So like that's the problem. It's almost like it's like a 90s movie where like, you know how, like, Jurassic Park 2, there's a little girl in it, and, like, she's just a kid in a movie. Like, she's not an exceptional actor or anything. But the character in the movie has a skill of, like, earlier on in the movie, she's a she talks about gymnastics or whatever. And then later in the movie, she saves somebody by doing trapeze work and kicking a raptor out a window.
Yeah, well, she must have been, like, what, 14, 15?
So the same kind of feel happens in Star Wars Episode 1, where... Anakin, it shows how he's such a good pod racer, and then he comes and he like almost stumbles his way into saving the day at the end and blowing up the Trade Federation like droid control ship.
Yeah, and it's just like all these skilled pilots. Like, yeah, Anakin's supposed to be a skilled pilot too, but the entire scene of him doing that, where he goes and destroys it, he had no idea what he's doing.
No,
all these skilled pilots who like know what they're doing or know what they're trying to do couldn't do it, and then he just stumbles his way into it and destroys it and gets out unscathed. It's just like
George Lucas loves bumbling characters, like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know if he was the one who decided that Boba Fett would die by accidentally getting bumped in the back with a stick, and then he flies into the side of a building and falls into a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah,
it's like,
that kind of sucks.
What?
Like,
this is supposed to be the most badass bounty hunter in the land.
Yeah, he was sold short. But another thing that bugged me about Phantom Menace, Yoda. Like, Yoda, you'd think...
how he looked completely...
Yeah,
the puppet got shittier, even though it's a newer puppet.
Like, everything else... That's another thing about this... The prequels, is that everything... Like, maybe it is that with the Galactic Empire in episodes 4, 5, and 6, they've made things in the universe a lot harsher, and everything looks a lot
Well, it's more efficient, I think. They don't care about people being happy. They just care about fear.
But no, that's what I mean, though, is in, like, the prequels, everything's so sleek and shiny and new.
I think a lot of the problem is because of how much CGI was used.
He really wanted to make it look spacey.
Well, not only that, but because CGI was still, even though it was revolutionary for the time, it's still, compared to like now in like, I was playing the Black Ops 3 campaign, in the cutscenes and that, the CGI was so good, it looked like real fucking buildings and shit, man. Like, with objects, CGI has gotten so good that you cannot tell whether it's CGI or real, right? Unless they do a bad job. But with this movie, like, the entire world, like, it just feels like there's people in a green screen room.
Oh, yeah.
And they put it doesn't feel real.
No, everything, like, I would say 95%.
Like, there is some scenes that do feel real, mostly like Tatooine and stuff.
95% of that movie, okay, not 95 because of Tatooine. I would put it at about like 70% of that movie is like people in front of green screens.
Oh yeah,
I have to give them practical.
Probably a lot of the Tatooine stuff is too, but I think it's easier to CGI a desert than it is to CGI like a palace and make it look realistic.
Yeah. But no, I have to give them the whole practical effects for the actual people, for most of the people.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of actual physical aliens.
But for the backgrounds and the scenery, it was all CGI, and it's just like, now when you watch it, you can definitely tell.
Oh yeah,
and
like
it's just
like there'll be a scene in the the Trade Federation ship, and it just is like two guys in that's what it was when they came down to the land and they were talking to the droids, and literally they were supposed to be like in a forest or something, and it was just two guys in masks, and then just a bunch of fake shit all around him. Like, that's all it looked like. Fake robots, fake scenery, everything. And, like, it's, especially now, it is aging out where you can tell.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to get dated. But other than, like, Yoda looking worse than he did, worse and older, I thought, than he did in the 4, 5, and 6. Or 4, 5.
5 and 6, you mean?
5 and 6, fuck.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think the puppet looked strange. Like, it didn't look the same. Like, that's not what I would think a younger Yoda would look like. But now, because I've seen Star Wars episodes 2 and 3 so much, to me, that CGI Yoda is what young Yoda should look like for some reason. Like,
yeah.
Maybe they did do a better job with the CGI Yoda, but old Yoda in the swamp is my favorite Yoda, where he's just nuts, and he's like...
He is, my favorite.
Just taking all Anakin's shit, Luke's
just playing
shit,
with it,
and he like takes the flashlight and fucking starts beating R2 to get the flashlight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But
should we rate it?
No, episode 1. We've been shitting on it this whole time. I want to say a couple positive things about it. First of all,
lightsaber fight.
Yeah, the lightsaber fight at the end. It changed what we knew, because that's one thing. Episodes 4, 5, and 6, there were no Jedi. Obi-Wan was just an old hermit. Yoda didn't even have a lightsaber. Luke was untrained, right? Yeah. So we didn't see a true Jedi at their peak in a lightsaber duel against a Sith at their peak until episode 1, where we saw two Jedi face a Sith with a double-bladed lightsaber. Like, first of all, it's unreal at the time, something we've never seen before, and it still holds up to being, even though it does look a little bit choreographed, it's still an intense fight, and it's my really good
fight so far.
Especially the section after Qui-Gon dies, when Obi-Wan
that is such an intense emotional.
And Anakin should have Anakin as a young child should have witnessed that and seen, like, this is part of Belated Media does a what if episode 1 was good, what if episode 2, and he mentions it in that. If Anakin would have seen the hate-fueled battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, it would have shown him that some Jedi can go dark, but his problem is that he couldn't handle it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, he would try and go dark, and it would end badly, as we've seen. But that's the whole thing. Like we were saying, the biggest problem is how they handle Anakin's story arc.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some good stuff.
Qui-Gon Jinn in this movie he makes it good.
No, yeah, it makes it watchable. That's one thing. Like
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. It makes it a really terrible script actually half-assed believable, right?
Yeah, like he sells a bit of it, even though you know it's terrible.
You couldn't ever hear... Like, it'd be hard to find an actor that could sit there and explain to you what midichlorians are and have it be like, okay.
Yeah.
Because Liam Neeson's saying it, I believe it, I guess. But, like, yeah, I mean...
pod
If
racing.
Ewan McGregor would have explained it at the end of episode 3, after we've seen him as this character for so long and now he has this gravitas, that's somebody who it would have been fine.
That would have been too late though, because if all of a sudden just like episode 3 you throw in Metachlorines.
No, I agree.
And upset absolutely.
It would have been weird.
All the other 5
weirder.
movies, it would have been like, what the fuck?
But
like,
what
still is kind of like what the fuck.
it is, what the fuck. But they never mention it again ever. Like they mentioned it in one expanded universe or what I guess whatever it's called now. Like it's still part of the canon, right? But I have heard, I haven't read it, but I've heard that somebody talk about one of the expanded universe things where they mention midichlorians and they kind of rectify it and make it seem better than they do in the actual movies. But I don't know. Overall, it's not.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Like,
I mean,
gotta like it even when it.
I can't.
Shit.
Like when I watch it, I still enjoy it. It's still Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There is parts that are boring, and that's sad to say for a Star Wars movie to have be bored in a Star Wars movie. Like I shouldn't want to pull out my phone and go on Facebook in a Star Wars movie. I should just be glued to the screen like I am with 4, 5, and 6, and even 3. I'm pretty glued to the screen with 3. Like I enjoy 3 quite a bit.
But we'll
get onto that later, and now we can rate. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
2 out of 6.
2 out of 6.
2 out of 6.
Yeah, that's basically what I would say. It's not the worst one, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's not great.
The best.
Like if you watch it first and you've never seen a Star Wars movie before,
it won't be that bad.
It won't be that bad because you won't have all this nostalgia going towards it. But it also might be a little worse because you don't have nostalgia going towards it.
That's true, yeah.
And the thing is, if like you're gonna introduce a kid to Star Wars, Episode 1 isn't a bad thing to introduce a kid to Star Wars.
It's newer, like
But
with Episode
what you
7
should also do,
out,
if you're gonna introduce them to Episode 1, you also have to introduce them to Episode 4 at the same time, because, in fact, I would probably show them that first. Just for the fact of...
They're going to have no idea some of the...
Well, to them, they'll be like, well, this movie's shitty because of the effects, even though it's better. Because a kid... When I was a kid, I didn't understand the gravity of Star Wars and stuff. Like, to me, when I first saw Star Wars Episode 1, blew my mind that what's-her-face, it was... Padme was Queen Amidala, like, Natalie Portman. That Natalie Portman was actually Queen Amidala. That... Even though now watching it, it's like, that's super obvious. Mm-hmm. But as a kid, that blew my mind because kids are kind of dumb. No offense, but I don't know. When I was a kid, I was dumb. You learn as you get older, and so that's the thing. This movie was made a little bit more for kids.
Oh, definitely.
So it's not the worst one, though. So we'll leave it at that. Let us know what you think about the movie in the comments down below. Also, kind of tell us what your list, what your order of 6 is, or you can just tell us what you rate this compared to all the other ones out of
66. Like,
execute order 66. But anyways, thanks for watching, and email us, tweet at us, Facebook us, whatever. Join the conversation, or just comment in the comments down below. Never stop Star Warsing. Peace.